What's up, guys? What's up, Jake?
Nothing. Just trying to get ready for this trip. I don't know why I wait till the
Dude,
last minute on everything, man.
I feel you, man. I got a lot going on. And our guests tonight, guests plural, maybe. We'll see if Jody can make it on, but Abby's here for sure right now. They are in the same boat as us. They're a little bit further along than you and I, making their way down the road and already pretty much there, it sounds like, for Abby. But, and what's up, Brian Lee, Tyler Bean? See you guys in the comments. You guys ask questions tonight. Hang out with us. Comments. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to keep it short and sweet, but I feel your pain, man. It's crazy how much stuff you got to get together for a trip like this and order and plan and whatnot. But
plus we have to get ready for an event of our own.
Yeah,
on top of it.
Exactly. The Paris Reelfest for the KAS. So I definitely was second guessing myself, like, man, should I have done this bonus event? Like, it was kind of a gamble. Like, hey, am I going to be out in Texas? We haven't done a Texas event. There's a big fishing population in Texas. Maybe we should try to do something out there. It was kind of a gamble, and it doesn't matter to me. Like, if we get 150 people, 125 or 50 or 40, it doesn't really matter to me. It's like a bonus event for the Kayak Adventure Series anglers. You know what I mean? So I'm just excited to be out there and see if we can start showing off how awesome the Paris, Texas area is, and Lake Bodark.
Apparently it's fishing great.
Yeah, it is.
By the way, like, people are catching, like, they're saying they're catching some sixes, some high sixes pretty routinely.
Yeah. So. And how great that area is, because in the future, Lake Ralph Hall is about to open, I think later this year or next year. And they are like, literally, they're like 14 miles apart, these two lakes, both of them about the same size, about 50. Maybe Ralph Hall is a little smaller. Maybe it's 12 or 13 or 14,000 acres. I think Bodark's going to settle in around 16,000. But that will be a kayak fishing just epicenter in the very near future, because they're stocking them with the offspring, obviously, of the Share Lunker, 13, 14 pounders, some big ones, and managing it correctly. They built it correctly, left all the timber in there. They flooded the forest. They're doing some cool stuff, putting some fish structures in there. So, dude, that area is going to be amazing. So if we can at least start to get Paris on the map for, you know what I'm saying, like tournament venue for kayak fishing, it can become the next, like, Shreveport, Caddo, Bissano, Paris, Bodark, Ralph Hall. You know what I mean? It's going to be cool. So either way, we're going to accomplish that. And speaking of Raccoon Creek Outfitters, which we're about to announce, Dustin Hoy, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. I just tried to put that comment up. There it goes. Thank you guys at Raccoon Creek for sponsoring the show, all the live streams. Special live stream tonight in the evening. We're going to get right to it. Let's bring Abby Abbondanza in the show, because everything we're saying. What's up, Abby?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good, man. Can be definitely
from Texas.
Yeah, man, you made it. So
I'm here.
You were there. You're going to be there for the full practice period, it sounds like, and I don't know if it even matters, because you're going to get so much wind tomorrow. You may not even.
Well, I plan on windsurfing tomorrow, so
yeah, it's going to be fun, man. I cannot wait, and
I can't wait to be soaked, dude. Because I mean, like, I don't think anything will top 10 Killer and Possum Kingdom, though. Those two events back to back were just, I felt like I was, like, cursed, man. Like,
last year
they were so bad.
Yeah, the waves were bad. The wind was bad. You know what else? It was bad? You guys weren't there, but Havasu. Not so much for me, but for a lot of the field. They were, and Joe McElroy, especially in practice, was telling me, he's like, wear all your wind gear, your waterproof jackets and everything, head to toe, be covered. And he's like, and obviously it's a desert, there's no rain. He's like, no, it's because you're about to get splashed. Of course, he didn't know. I'm like, not worried about it. I'm not anywhere that was big waves like that, but they were getting pounded there due to the wind, obviously, in the desert. So we're going to get it, Abby. So what do you think, man? How's the wind going to play in this event? I mean, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a big factor because it's supposed to be nice the 3-4 days of practice we're going to have, other than tomorrow. It is supposed to die down afternoon tomorrow. So probably get out fishing in the afternoon, and stay in a cove, whatever, but at least be on the water. But I think if you find stuff on, say, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then that wind front moves in, that's going to change everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And
It is.
even to how you get to your spot, so that's things you got to think about. Okay, is there going to be a lot of wind? So maybe I
Getting
need
back, because that's
Getting
something
back.
too.
Yeah.
People gotta realize you only get an hour now.
Right.
So
Yeah.
That's something I think that's going to be a factor. Like you're going to have to really think about that. Like, hey, am I going to be able to fish this if it's bad out? And some people will risk, if they're catching big fish, and I get it. But at the end of the day, it's all about safety too.
You'll probably see Bailey out in that. He's notorious for going out in the middle of the wind.
Yeah. But here's the thing. As we talk tonight, everyone, as you're following along, I see you guys in the comments. Remember that everything that we say here is going to apply to the Paris Reelfest because it's the same. You know what I mean? It's just a couple days later. It's Texas, very similar style of lake. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. And Abby, you and Jody, sounds like you're going to be teaming up there for a team. I know you're already registered as an individual, so that'll be your first experience there. So I just want to remind people we're going to start talking about the Bassmaster Championship, but obviously it all applies still because the fish are going to be in a similar stage at both these lakes. So
they're close to each other, so it's going to be pretty much the same, weather pattern and everything.
Hour away.
Obviously you're going to concentrate on at least for me, I'm going to concentrate on the championship. And then I'm looking forward. This is my first time fishing the Kayak Adventure Series, so that's awesome. I didn't get to fish any of them last year because it just didn't fit. And this year, I think I have 4 on the schedule, so I'm looking forward to that. And so I think what a better way to kick it off in Texas. I mean, your chances of catching a giant are pretty good.
Absolutely. I will say this, man. I'm excited. We're excited to have you guys. Unfortunately, you won't get the full KAS experience because it's a one-day shootout.
That'll come.
It's not really the bass shoot. Yeah, it'll come. But this is what's actually interesting, Jake. We have an odd AOI calculator. Do you know about this, Abby? Have you heard of how we calculate AOI?
No, I don't. No.
So you guys out there might be thinking, oh, if there's going to be less people there because it's kind of on the classic weekend and maybe it's not going to be as highly attended, it's going to be an easy grab for AOI points, right? But that's not true with our system. The system, here's how it works. I'll explain it to you, and it's pretty cool. It doesn't matter how many people are in the tournament because we don't go down by a 1 point increment from the first place person, like 199, whatever. We actually go, or 250. What is ours at Bassmaster? Is that 100 or 250?
200, I think. 200,
yeah, something like that. 2 or 250. And then it goes down by 1. Okay, so you actually have a little bit of a discrepancy because when I won Havasu out of 111 anglers, that's not the same as winning Gunnersville out of 250 or Susquehanna out of 250, which you're going to have 250. That's a much bigger feat to win in those other events, but the winner still gets the same AOI points. 15th place gets the same AOI points. It's really like a little bit. The only reason it works in the Elite Series is because all the anglers are fishing all the events. So then it's fine there. But what we did is we had this cool thing. Lance Cooley, you always got to give Lance credit for this. He did this with his club in Alabama. It's really easy, actually. All you do is you take whoever wins, right? So let's say you win Fork, Abby. I'm calling it now. Abby wins the championship. He wins it with.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say you win it with 90. Let's see. Well, whatever. If it was a one day tournament, let's say you win it with 98.5 inches. It's probably going to be over 100, but whatever. 98.5.
You never know.
Actually, we'll make it easy for the first example. Let's say he gets flat out 100. What happens is you get 100 points because you set the bar. Whoever wins sets the 100-point bar. And then everyone else, you divide what they caught because you kind of showed everyone that's the most you could get on that day. Mm-hmm. You're the best. You divide that by your score. So if second place got 90, you have a 10-point lead in AOI over that second place because you blew the field out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then multiple people could also have 90. Multiple people, like if there's a big bunch of people that are separated by a half inch or a quarter of an inch, in the way the other formats are set up, it kind of sucks when you're the last person down. You lost a bunch of tiebreakers. You know what I mean? Like, dang, I got 8 points less in AOI. But in this format, you could all tie You know what I'm saying? Like you're just dividing it by the leader. But what's also cool is if the people right below you, there are 4 people that had 99 between 99 and 100, 99, 90, 90 and a half, 3/4. They're going to be right on your tails with like 99 points for AOY.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it kind of balances it all out. I think it rewards the angler who crushes a field as they should be. And then if the field, if you barely won, then, so it's kind of cool. And it creates decimal points, which means there's no tiebreakers at the end of the year. Cause there's always a decimal when you divide it. Cause it's never this perfect 190 inches. You know what I mean? You're going to have 0.75.
So basically, you got to have a strong math background in order to do AOI calculations.
Well, it's a good thing
really,
that we have someone who does it for us, so we don't have to worry.
Josh Goforth, shout out to Josh. But either way, it's that just take your score and it's
really like
divide it by whatever
yours.
If 80 inches is the winning score, whatever. If you have 79, divide that by 80, and it's going to be like 98. You see what I'm saying? Like very close.
Yeah.
You get 98. It's really not that hard, but. Anyway, that's why we do it that way. Because if you have 30 people in an event or 40 or 50, and we're going to have we're definitely going to have some events that are going to hit 150, maybe even 200 at the Susky at that Native Power Hour joint event with the Susky. Maybe we can get 200 there.
That's going to be a cool event.
That's going to be a crazy payout if you think about it.
Oh, it's going to be.
If you fish both events, and let's say you throw on the team event too, and you just like crush it. You could win hourly bonuses on top of like the jackpot from both tournaments. Like that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I the native one 2 years ago. I caught the first fish on Hour Power or Power Hour, and you got an extra $500
bonus. Nice.
Yeah, you got another bonus for catching the first one of the
That's
morning.
cool.
See, I kind of want to fish the Power Hour because that's one. Since I can't fish the KAS ones usually, so it's like. Maybe I'll fish like half the Power Hour before we have to like start working.
And I literally fished for big fish that day. I didn't, I was looking for 20 plus.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
And I had caught 3, but they tied with other when they caught them before me. And I knew I had a spot.
It's always an interesting strategy with those Power Hours because it's like the person who wins, you would think like, oh yeah, he really crushed them. And it's like usually it's like an army of like 14 inchers that takes it.
Yeah. This is a comment. Daniel Zimmerscheid. Hopefully I said that right. He's hoping KAS has a major success this season. I'll be following from Minnesota. Most likely he'll be at that St. Cloud event, the Mississippi Bronze Quest. So we appreciate it, Daniel. Thanks for chiming in and being part of the show today. So the last comment, then I kind of got us off track with the AOI thing. But the point is, it's kind of cool because if you're on the sidelines and you can't make it to Texas and it's a low turnout and you're hoping to be part of this AOI equation for KAS, you're not like, dude, this is not even fair. If all I'm going to fish is the broodstock and the Susky who's going to have 200 anglers and I'm going to have a lot. And then the Ohio event's going to have a ton of people. In Minnesota, in South Boston, Virginia, we know those are going to be pretty big ones. And they're like, but they don't have to worry about that because it doesn't work by 1 point increments. And anyway, and vice versa as well. So if you're only, so anyway, I think that's pretty cool. But I will say, I do think we could hit some kind of record for KAS and because like you said, Jake, KAS Native Power Hour plus the kayak team series following weekend. So people can stay there all that week, come a couple days, pre-fish a couple days for our event, then rest a day, whatever, day and a half, and then roll right into just fishing the team series too. So it's
and that's what we plan on doing. We're going to fish that too. So I think one of your sleeper events is going to be the Allegheny event in Franklin.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been telling me that it's going to surprise us on the limits.
It's going to really surprise you. So what I didn't see with the lakes, I know Wilhelm is one of them, but there's a lot of good lakes up around that area that are going to surprise you. I'm
texting Jody right now. He's trying to get in.
Yeah, I think let me pull it up. It's Allegheny, Clarion, and French Creek, and then the lakes are Arthur, Glade, Shenago,
Wilhelm. In that.
Yeah.
There's some big
Wilhelm.
fish.
That's gonna be See, this is back at. Sorry, I was texting with Jody. This is in like kind of a little bit of your backyard, so that's gonna be a fun one. Yeah, you got to place.
There's big smallmouth and big largemouth at Shenango.
Really?
There is.
Yeah.
That's where I'll be.
Yeah.
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 Dude, this whole event's going to be the
lake.
battle.
Don't get me wrong. It's a big lake.
Yeah.
But there are big. I mean, I've caught 21-inch smallmouth there.
Well, that is, I think the storyline into that event. We've all kind of been talking about it. Everyone's been talking about it. It's going to be there's bigger largemouth than people realize in Pennsylvania in these lakes. Yeah. So the story is going to be, it's a largemouth versus smallmouth event. It really is. I mean, someone can mix bag, but the smallmouth are going to hit 20, 21 is a really giant there, but it's like the Susky, right? You're going to, it's the Susky. 21's big on the Susky. I mean, it is. Yeah. You catch a lot of 18, 19 and hitting 20, but not a ton of overs. Right. So will five big 18 to 17 and a half to like 20 and a half inch smallies win when you could potentially catch a 22 and a half inch like largemouth or something, in that range, 21 and a half, 21 3/4, which just gives you that little bit of a buffer to like not have to be so.
Well, there's a very prominent.
They're a big largemouth in every one of those lakes you mentioned.
What up, Jody?
Hey, Jody.
You made it.
Man, I'm proud of myself. I did some real cyber stuff here.
Always impressed. We made it in, buddy. Did you make it down the road, or where are you at?
House, man. I'm gonna pull out here about 4 a.m.
Well, we're going to keep this brief and quick here. But we've had a good conversation so far, just talking about, we started with talking about the Bass Championship, which we're going to circle back to now, but talking about how the pair, all the stuff we talk about tonight is going to apply to both events, because Lake Fork is an hour away from, Lake Bodark and all the other lakes that we're going to be fishing around Paris. So it's going to be similar stage. And then we got to talking about how the, even if it's a lower attendance for this sort of bonus event for the Paris Reelfest for KAS, it won't affect the AOY scoring, because the way we do it, we divide, so you may have heard some of that. We divide your score, whatever you get, by the winner's score. So it gives you a percentage of what the maximum number was that day. So it's kind of cool, because no one will ever have some advantage if they won at a lower attended event or did well there compared to Susky's going to have a couple hundred. Then we started veering off in the broodstock in Franklin, up there in Abby's neck of the woods. So anyway, I guess we can get back to
the
Texas.
wind.
Yeah. To the wind. Back to the wind. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. How do you think, Jody, that the wind is going to play? Do you think it's going to push more kayak anglers and confine us more in these certain parts of the lake, and then we're going to have even more pressure with each other? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it usually does. I mean, we're all looking for that, that sweet spot where the wind just ain't, ripping. But it could come down to finding that one little cove, or at one little creek, or at one little, area that's, creeks could play. I mean, get in the right, get put back in a hidey hole where there's fish. I mean, it's actually absolutely smash them, But we're going to have to find that area. It'd be interesting. I actually, this evening, I was going to look at the area and find out where the highest elevations were around the lake. How they're going to be laying with the wind. I hate it when Mother Nature dictates where I have to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you want access to everything out there, and sometimes it doesn't work out that way. I'm find a spot that's conducive by it,
Yeah, that's true. I also hate it, Jody, when the cell signal affects where you have to go, and that's why the Kayak Adventure Series, we give an hour and a half on a normal event. We have a Friday half day of fishing. We give an hour and a half, and then on Saturday, which is our final day, we give an hour and 15 minutes to get photos in and uploaded. I hate it when you're thinking, oh, I can't go here because of the cell signal. That's not the way. It shouldn't dictate. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, it's rare that it happens, but it does happen where you're like, man, I got to get motoring off the water to get back to the ramp, to get driving somewhere to get signal. So I hate it when the wind dictates it and the cell.
Right. It affects what you're saying, it affects your time management. You have to manage your time anyway, so that's just another thing that you have to worry about.
Yeah, or be stressed about.
That was something that actually impacted me a lot at Possum Kingdom because they canceled day one, right? So like I couldn't go. I was nervous about going to the main spot I wanted to go to on the 1-day shootout from last year. And so I launched somewhere completely new and it was a complete bust. But it's like the people who had the bigger kayaks could go to those spots and they ended up actually like cashing checks in them. But it's like, since I was in like more of a, a smaller kayak, I didn't want to go out there and fight waves to get there because it ended up calming down in the afternoon and I'm kind of kicking myself. But it was one of those scenarios where like you literally had to pick your like D option just to stay out of the wind.
Yeah. You know who's not in a small kayak? Jody and Abby.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
The Bonafide is
he's in the XTR, right?
The XTR, they're both matching XTRs, man. They Bonafide's a great sponsor of the Kayak Adventure series, so shout out to those guys.
Wait, Jody's in an XTR now too?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. These guys are twins.
Hey, man, funny that happened at Abby.
At Murray.
So you know how you check out a ramp and you're in a hurry and you want to get back. Check it out. I'll make this quick as I can. Phone doing something. Murray's a big striper lake, and I'm 50 yards behind him. And of course, we're full throttle trying to get back to the ramp because next ramp. Phone. He's got his face buried in. See him up there. Well, what he does is see off the right bank. There's a big striper boat just comes off the bank and passes right in front of him, half throttle. I mean, the boat is at 45. I was looking at I chasing. Abby's just there on his phone, man, full throttle.
I was looking at the weather.
Yeah.
4-footers are coming right at him. I'm like, does he see this? He doesn't see. That boat went straight 4-footers, dude. 5.5. Bam, 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 bam. And I was like, well, that's the true test of this boat to see how it reacts. Dude, water come up over his electronics, all back into the. But it took it. It took it.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's a funny story for sure. That you guys might experience similar conditions over there in Fork for sure. I do want to shout out Kim Harris from the amazing oil region of Pennsylvania, and she's one of the ones we're working with over there that helped bring the event to Franklin. So thank you, Kim. And she says we're looking forward to seeing you guys in September. I assume she just heard us talking about that event, and that's why she chimed in. But we're pumped. Abby and Jody, at some event, maybe the one in Broodstock in Franklin. I don't know. You have promised some music.
Yeah.
Because
I have something for you on that.
All right.
So Jody and I both signed with Gamma Line.
Okay.
And they're from Franklin, so they're going to sponsor us to play there.
Oh, sick!
That's cool.
At your at event there.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
And actually I actually played there with the band for Franklin. They have an awesome Apple festival.
Yeah,
in the fall there. And I played there with the band a long time ago.
Yeah, that's cool.
Twice, I think, matter of fact.
That's really cool, man. We actually talked about that Apple festival because I think it plays in when we were scheduling our event. You know what I mean? We can't be too close to the Apple Fest because they got
it's a big event.
Busy time of year. And I went to the ice festival there too. That was pretty cool. In the winter. So it's a great town, great area, great fishing. Obviously, that's why we're going anywhere that we go, right? So I'm excited about it. We'll see Kim there and the rest of her team. They're doing a great job. And now we're looking forward to this. Hey, we just announced it live here. Abby and Jody are going to be playing for us. So Jody, you pick like the banjo, right? I mean, West Virginia, it just makes sense. Virginia, West Virginia.
He plays a mean guitar. Yeah.
I'm trying to brush up on my banjo. Abby's been talking about doing some nice banjo in the background stuff. So I've got my banjo with me on this trip, Abby. So we're going to.
Nice.
Hey, we'll come over. We're in Emory, Jake and I, along with
they're
a couple
right
other
near
guys.
us, Jode.
We're staying. We'll have to come over and hang out at some point for this event. But yeah, getting back to the event, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely. It's definitely changed the wind and the weather and all this has definitely changed the strategy. You plan, in your head, you vision like how it's going to go. And what's cool about this podcast is none of us have fished Lake Ford, because I've talked to all of us and none of us have.
Right.
So we can't really get any info from anybody here because we don't really know anything. We're just kind of guessing.
It. I used to drive over there all the time when I lived in Texas, but I've never fished it.
Yeah. But so anyway, I just had this image in my head based on all the research. Here's what I'm going to go do. And now once it gets closer, it all goes out the window. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because like I said, you could find stuff on the calm days on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then it's all going to change if there's wind involved. So you might have to throw that plan right out the window. So
that's true.
But I was originally going to bring 2 kayaks because of the wind. I was like, because Drew knows this. I've been talking about this wind for weeks. I was like, dude, I lived in Texas. I know how March is. Like, I'm nervous about this wind. I was going to bring 2. And then ultimately I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go somewhere that's not windy. That's my plan.
Yeah. It almost makes me want to go somewhere that's windy now. You know what I mean? Like, when everyone zigs,
you have the talons, but I'll tell you what, you put those talons down, you're going to be getting soaked if you're in some rollers.
Yeah. In a kayak, I don't think they're going to work as well in a boat in super, super rough conditions, because they're not going to dig in the mud.
Right? Like,
yeah, there's play, but there's also just not mud they're going to go in. It's just kind of, it's kind of muddy in some areas. Don't get me wrong. Like, but I'm talking the windy spots are going to be more out in the main lake clay. Like, you're going to be a little harder, I think, not like mud. They're not going to sink. So you're just going to come off of the ground.
Right.
Excuse me. Yeah, I got a cough. But
where the play is a little bit is if they're pushed up on the banks, grass or something, kind of hold. You don't have to put them all the way down. If you just stick them down in the grass, it'll slow your movement. But that might help you. I've done that before. I've stocked big down on the Harris chain. I'd stock them down in the hydrilla. Eventually, they would stop me. They wouldn't stop me forever, but they'd stop me.
Right, enough.
Drag me through the big grass beds. But there's ways to use them. They also stick up and catch more wind. So, there's tons to it. What are you gonna do?
I know, for sure. Now, the big bait's gonna play. Do you guys think? Abby, I know you're talking about been messing around with glide baits and stuff lately and playing around with that. Jake, you throw some glide stuff. I've never really gotten into the big glide bait game. I'll throw a big swim bait at times, like a big one back in my shoal bass days and largemouth in the southeast. But I don't know. Jody, you ever dabble in that giant stuff yet?
Not big giant stuff. What I have though dabbled with is big giant spinner baits.
Yeah,
I've got some 35-year-old spinner baits that I've got in the tournament, man. They've got 5-inch blades on them. They got big hooks. I'm gonna try them. I pretty good fish on them in rough conditions before. So
yeah.
But yeah, they're going to have some weight to them. You're going to have control over your kayak and ag drafts and stuff. Catch the wind when it's really, really bad like that. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, Abby,
I actually have a really cool mag draft hack, and I don't know if I should share it though. Actually,
really?
Come to think of it, but there's a way to make them work insanely well in the wind, like insanely well.
Dude, you gotta hold on to something.
Yeah, I gotta hold on to something. I'll be up on the stage and be like, "Yeah, I had this secret that I had to keep in my back pocket."
Let's hear Abby's story here with the big baits he's been dabbling with. However much he wants to share, but I know you've been trying and
yeah,
catching,
I have a signature series glide bait coming out with Hot Fish baits.
Sick.
It's called the Hot Fish Glide Fire Glide, and we're going to do drops on it in certain colors. The first color is going to be called Vader, and it's a pretty cool color. Nobody in the industry has done it from what I've seen, and I've had some pretty good stuff happen with it so far. So
nice.
What's the name of the company?
Hot Fish Baits.
Hot Fish.
Mm-hmm. They're on Instagram, and so I'm pretty excited about it. And I got a couple good things happen. I love to throw chatterbait, and I just signed up with Brandon over at Little Miami Outfitter Rods, and we're going to do a signature series chatterbait rod, and I'm pretty pumped about that. And there'll also be different rods throughout the series of the line, but the first one I'm going to release is going to be the chatterbait rod. So I'm pretty pumped
that's
about
fitting.
that.
Very fitting for sure. I mean, everyone knows you love to throw chatterbait.
Yep.
You and Jody are, I mean, dude, you got matching kayaks now. You got matching battery sponsors, Miller Tech, which I might be joining that team very soon as well. We'll see. But
hey, man, you got to power those talons.
Yeah, I got to power the power poles, dude. Don't call them talons.
I don't know. What do they call those?
They're blades. Power pole, the original.
That's it.
Yeah,
I knew it was like some sharp thing.
Yeah, no, Talon's like I think the Minn Kota brand. But anyway, but yeah, you guys are kind of like rock and roll, man. You are a formidable duo, and everyone knows. I think with me too, right? I mean, I've been with Z-Man a long time. All three of us are on the Z-Man team. Jake too. We're actually all four of us because you just got on. But so we all crush the chatterbait. We throw it a lot. We've won a lot of money with the chatterbait, and
that's all I threw at Caddo.
Yeah, I mean, Jody and I were just talking about 90% of my money I won last year was chatterbait.
Me too.
I was throwing the Mini Max and the tungsten a lot, so like it was kind of like a 1-2 punch. I was honestly really surprised how good that tungsten was. Like you don't think much of it. It's like it's just tungsten, but it turns out that it actually just has a completely different action.
Yeah,
different vibration.
Yeah.
They got a new one coming out, guys. I can't wait till it comes out.
They already they announced it today. Did you see that yesterday? Yeah. Yep. It's the baby jack. It's the jackhammer. It's like the baby jackhammer. So it's called baby jack.
God. There's too many little ones. They're confusing me.
Well, yeah, and I'm gonna figure out because I haven't had a chance to throw it because they actually sent it to Ohio when I was in Florida, and I wish it would have gone to Florida if I'd have known. I would have, so I could have thrown it down there, right? I know. Yeah. So anyway, but it's because I'm trying to figure out where it's going to play in the line between like the Mini Max. You know what I mean? How different is it than the Mini Max? Yeah, you can play the video.
It's got a little bit of different blade than the Mini Max.
It does. It's probably a little bit bigger blade than the Mini Max, maybe a teeny bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, we don't need sound.
It's got a pretty stout hook on it too.
It looks like they're in Texas.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to do a video like that, you want to go to Texas.
Yeah, that's true. So, baby jack.
Yep.
And the chatter shad will be a big thing for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that smaller one too. Yeah, it's going to work great. That's going to be a good bait. I mean, if it's Z-Man and it's a chatterbait of any sort, it's going to catch fish. You know what I mean? It really is. And for you guys and myself, all of us really, but especially you guys here lately you guys are just synonymous with the chatterbait. Like you said, 90% of your money. There was a few years where it was like that with me, but just, situations where you fish, certain things happen where I was throwing the cross-eyes jig, throwing the streak stack, the 7-inch jerk shad, whatever. Some other baits were like with some players, but I think it's going to be interesting because I've always made this like argument to people. While everyone else is out there trying to figure out how you fish a Nico rig and a drop shot and all this wacky this and this spy bait this and all this, every freaking technique out there in the world, and they never have enough time to actually figure out how to use it properly. You know what I mean? Like punching, everything. I mean, I do a lot of that stuff, but I don't do the finesse stuff. And I'm like, but why would I do it? I'm just going to keep getting better and more refined at what I do good. And for us, a lot of that is the chatterbait. So, and it catches them really good. So why would I switch until I'm getting beat by this other stuff? Why am I going to switch? So
we talk about this all the time. There is a difference in person to person how they use it, because I've been with people that, Jody and I both been with people that we're throwing the same exact thing, and I'm out fishing them 5-1. It's techniques. That's what it is. It's how you reel it. It's how you present it. Your cast, everything. So there's an art to it.
I mean, a lot of people get scared to death or throwing a chatterbait around wood. Learn how to throw that chatterbait. Not as good as a square bill, maybe, but you have to use different techniques. But you can throw it around wood, and I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love throwing the chatterbait in current, and yo-yoing it a lot. So like when I was down in Florida, I was doing that in the tail races a couple of weeks ago, and I like doing it on like the Susky and the Current, and just like a lot of people think like it's not as good as a spinnerbait in some scenarios, but it really can be. It just depends on the person throwing it, you know.
That's exactly right. It's different person to person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it actually is starting to become evident to me. It's different on the species of black bass, because even the Florida bass compared to the northern strain, I'm starting to learn that those suckers want it like ripped out of the grass or jerked, like stop and jerked, and not the consistent just whine. They actually want it like, and I'm used to just the northern strain of, the largemouth, the northerns, and smallmouth, other black bass, they don't care. They just want it wound, and they hone
Dude, when
in
I
on it.
started yo-yoing that, it was like I caught every single fish doing that. Like the entire time I was down there, I was just like, I caught one out of the mouth of a creek in a completely different lake doing the same thing, where I was just like ripping it up, like letting it go and then drop, and they would just boom. Whenever
it almost acts like a rattle trap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
the new
probably
rattle
why
trap.
the rattle traps work so good down there.
It's the new one.
Yeah.
And it's better because it doesn't have, 6 hook points or whatever it is.
When Shan was like, "Oh yeah, they love jerk baits," my heart just sank. I was like, "Why did I not bring the thousands of jerk baits I've got back here on the wall down there with us?"
Yeah, at the Bass U brunch. Hey, why don't we do this potentially? I'm gonna throw this out there. I have a speaker that might join us and speak on Saturday night for registration and the opening ceremonies for the Paris Reelfest. But it's an abbreviated version. It's not the full 2-day that we normally do. But I still will do like a seminar too. Excuse me. We could do I was going to do one if this guest doesn't show up. We could do a roundtable on this exact topic right there in person. If you guys want to, be there, if you make it on time, whatever. I know we might be doing other things or whatever, but let's plan on maybe popping up there and talking about it.
Yeah. What time is registration, by the way?
Excuse me, 6. Yeah, that's
Okay.
when it starts. It ends at like 8.
Okay.
6 to 8. Hang out. So anyway, give me a second. I gotta like take care of this cough. It's like something's right here.
Drew, you better not be bringing the plague with you to Lake Fork.
Man, you better quick below Wilson. Throw a just white pearl.
Hey, Jody, I think you need to move your phone or something because you're cutting out a good bit.
Now?
Yeah,
Seems
it's your speaker.
Yeah.
Your microphone went over.
Yeah. Phone sucks.
Oh yeah, you were breaking up a little bit. That's all right. We're about to wrap up. While I was getting a drink, I did happen to find a pack of what you're talking about there.
The Chatter Shad.
Chatter Shad. And that's a small one that's going to be great on that baby jack.
Yep. Yeah, it's a cross between the Razor Shad and the Chatter Spike.
Yep.
Yeah, the Razor Shad was just a little too thick, I think, for chatterbaits, really. I mean, they're fine, but like one problem with that is when you get like a really thick trailer on a chatterbait and you hit wood, it likes to roll. And then like the hook would roll into the wood sometimes. So that's why I didn't really like the Razor Shad that much.
Well, that's why you use the Evo, because the Evo has the wide head on it. It skips up over the wood.
See, this is the stuff, man. This is the juice we're going to do at the seminar here. If you scroll down on the Paris event page, we'll kind of wrap up with this, guys, because I know we all have to get moving to Texas. Well, you guys are there, but Jake and I and Jody, I guess. Abby's there. So that's the important dates and schedule right there. And you can see on Saturday, 5 o'clock is when the pre-fishing ends. And then actually it's 5 to 8, but we might change that to 6 to 8, I think. So, because it's daylight savings happens. So I think let's give everyone an hour to get there. It's going to be like 6 to 8, but I'll probably be there at 5 anyway. If someone still wants to show up early. And then so this Chatter Shad, you're going to get this. This is just one of the $100 worth of stuff you're going to get, guys. Whoever registers, the first 50 anglers get a gift bag, bunch of cool stuff. I got Sunline samples over here. They sent us sample spools, Z-Man stuff. We got Finman fishing stuff. Nakwa, cool Nakwa stuff is always laying around here. Anyway, I know I'm not very big on the screen, but lots of really cool, good stuff. And then it's going to be just a short abbreviated, version of Kayak Adventure Series, just a bonus event for you guys. While I'm in Texas, we decided we'll throw one. So, and then registration will end at 8. We'll do the full day tournament. We're actually doing a little bit different, guys. And I'll go over this obviously in an official like email and in preview video at some point as well. But all the information is here on the site. 7 a.m. launch, 3:30 lines out. Normally it's 3, but we want to give a little extra time. I mean, it's not much, right? 30 minutes, but because it's a one-day shootout and the theater, we really couldn't get in there till a little bit later anyway. So it kind of worked out to give you guys a little extra time, another 30 minutes. Hey, every little bit helps, right? So it's going to be fun. Then we'll do our little hangout, return back from 4 to 6:30 at the festival there in downtown Paris, just kind of there on the sidewalk. We're going to hang out, have some food. And then, of course, closing ceremonies. The awards are a little bit later than normal. Normally it's 6, but it's 7 p.m. We might get in there a little bit sooner than that and kick it off and try to wrap it up. So it should be fun. And we'll see how it goes down, man. It's going to be fun to have you guys there. And
looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm so pumped, and I'm definitely like you guys have all said. My mind is just so locked in and focused on what I have to do first at that championship.
Yeah.
I can't I've already done all the planning for this Paris thing. You know what I mean? That's already kind of been done. So at least I just got to put the stuff in the truck and drive.
Yeah.
But this here is like I got this trophy.
That's the worst part because that drive's horrible.
Yeah, it is horrible. I got to defend this trophy here, boys. That's the goal, man.
That's
right. The goal. I still can't even believe I won a championship. That was like all I was kind of like hoping I could finish up. And if I end my career, never win again or anything, didn't, of course, I ended up winning again. It has to. But if I didn't win again after that, dude, I was like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even care. That's why we do this, you know? So I'm looking forward to it, seeing how you guys do. I'm nervous about how many, the weather, the wind, how many great anglers are in here.
Dude, I'm like losing sleep over the wind. Yeah. I know that's weird, but like I've been thinking about it like the last like week. I have this like reoccurring nightmare too that like I'm gonna back my truck down to wet launch my kayak and I'm just gonna like forget to put it in park and it's gonna like fly in there and it's just like it's like all those things going through your head like that don't even have anything to do with fishing, right? Like
just go fish.
Yeah.
Just go fish.
Because I guarantee it's all gonna change day by day. And this is where the best come out on top because you adapt,
Yeah.
And that's what it's about is adapting.
It's true. Yeah. That's true. If you've done all your research, which you guys have, we all have, this Lake Fork is so unique and rare with how much like biomass is in there and how many fish are in there. And that's why I can handle all the pressure. But you know what it's just like? It's just like we always say, the Susquehanna River Tournament can be won on any ramp. Out of any ramp you could launch on that whole river, and it can be won. It's just about fishing the moment on that day and executing.
I mean, that heat map that we looked at down in Florida of Lake Fork, I was just like, wow, this is insane. Like, it literally is like just throw a dart and then, hope you get lucky because, like, you could catch a 10-pounder on every point in that lake.
Well, the thing in Texas, I think they have the biggest population of 6 to 8 pounders.
Yep.
They said.
You guys see the 12 they caught today?
No, I didn't. I saw they caught the 10 or 11 the other day.
No, somebody caught a 12.15 today. I saw it on the Texas Park and Wildlife thing. Dude, it was ridiculous. They waded in and let it go. They didn't even share lunker it. So
is it 12 over 12? I thought is it 13?
I think it needs to be 13 from Lake Fork for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, really? JT says he's signing up in the morning. That's cool. Well, let's do a little as we end. Let's just say, what do you guys think it's going to take to win, and what is the big bass going to be? That's what I want to know. What do you guys think it's going to take to win? So it's a 2-day tournament. So I guess we'll start with Jake. What do you think?
I think it might be surprising. I think like high 90s, 2 days. And then I think the big bass will be big. I think someone will catch like a 24, 25. Like, I don't see why they wouldn't. The bass are up shallow and the ones that aren't are going to get live scope because they're hungry and vulnerable. So I think somebody will catch somewhere in that 24 to 25 range, maybe bigger. Who knows?
So like 196, 198.
I think we might be surprised. I think the wind might actually impact like that like insane bite, you know, like where it's like, oh, a couple of people get 100 both days. I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean, the wind might not even happen. You know how weather is.
Yeah. What do you think, Jody? What do you think it's going to take?
Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing I'm thinking. It's going to take close to 100 inches each day.
Yeah.
198.
Yeah.
But I think the wind could play. If the wind is a negative factor, I still think it's going to take, 190 something.
Yeah. I agree. Abby, what's your take?
I'm dead set that you got to have 200 inches to win it, at least.
Yeah.
Just with the capability of catching, 5 to 6. Well, let's just go. You and I talked about this earlier, Drew. A 5 to 6, 7 pound fish is 21, 22 inches all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's the biggest, population of 5 to 8 pounders at this lake, I think all day long it's going to be 205. I'm going to say around 204 to 206 inches.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
That one was 12. Sorry, I was off by 0.3 of an ounce. It was 12, 12, 24 and 1/8 inch long. So 24.
That's a big
mighty
fish.
Dude, look at his eyeball. Look at her eyeball. Look at that.
Yeah.
Because think about that, Jody. That fish I caught down at Sandy Cooper was 24 inches and it was 8'11".
Yeah.
How big that fish is round compared to that's got 3 more pounds, 3.5 more pounds.
Dude, that looks like it's like AI generated. It's like make a ridiculously fat bass.
Does that fish have a bloody tail?
It doesn't look like it. I looked at that when I first pulled it open, but
Jody with the detective work, dude. I love it, man. Yeah, that's a good question.
I was
Jody.
looking, but my old eyes couldn't see it.
No, that's a smart thing to be looking for right there, buddy.
Yeah.
Dude, look at where this tackle shop's at. It's got like a lakefront. You just pull up to the thing and buy a reel.
Oh, I thought that was a picture. That's the
No,
lake.
it's literally like opens into the lake, it looks like. Unless it's like a really good picture. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be a picture with the backdrop behind the light. I don't know. It's crazy. But
what is a marina? So.
I'm going to say, yeah, it's true. It's right there. I'm going to say it will. I'm more in like, probably in Abby's camp where it's going to be like over 200, but like just barely over 200. I think the wind will help the big bite, but I also think it's going to hurt the boat control. So it's going to almost negate a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you can't catch quite as many, but someone's going to get on some spot where the wind's going to help their bite and they'll get over 200, whoever wins this thing. And I always think like that. And this kind of leads into the Bass After Dark I did on Thursday with that podcast, Bass After Dark. We talked about practice and pre-fishing. And one of the big things is we all kind of said about the same, really. I mean, 198 is not much different than 200. We know what we need. So that's a cool thing. You do your research, and now in practice, when we get there, we start catching fish. We know if we're in an area that we just can't get anything over 17 or 18, we got to get out. That's never going to even come close to touching the wind. So we can save time. And so that's a very, very important thing for any of you guys out there who are tournament anglers. Definitely figure out and do the conversion of weight to length and whatnot, or whatever. If you look at tournaments that have been held previously on the lake that are weight tournaments, convert them. And this time of year in the pre-spawn, it really is like 100 inches is getting, a little 100. It's getting close to 30 pounds, a little bit less than that. But you saw how fat that fish was. So anyway, and it definitely depends on if you get five exact 20-inch fish, or if you got one like that. Because if you got one like that, trust me, you can have a dang 16-incher, and you're still going to be at 30 pounds if you got other 6 and 7s.
Right.
I mean, I'm telling you, will, because they're bones. It's all
that's a big weight for only a 24-inch fish.
Yeah.
For that fish to carry all that weight.
Huge.
Yeah, because I've caught a 24 and a quarter, something like that, 24 and a half, and it was only 9 pounds. So like, that's crazy. That's a 3-pound swing.
Yeah.
Well, Robert Weiker's that we just showed, you can pull that clip up if you want, Jake, that Robert Weiker's fish, and we'll end this thing in Florida. He caught it off a bed. It was after the KAS tournament there. It was in the Ocalapalooza, waters.
26.
And it was 26 inches. It maxed out the catch board, but it was 9. What do you say? 9/11, something like that. So not even so. There it is.
I never have this much trouble making a female mad at me.
Got her. This is unreal right here. It's a whale.
Stay down. Stay down. Stay down. Stay down. Stay down.
He was making me nervous with this.
Oh my God, I got her. Dude, this fish is so big. Oh my Lord, I got her. Hooked
That's
in the
cool.
mouth, baby. It's what we come to Florida for. 26 inches, 9 pounds, 11 ounces.
So yeah, it was just long. It wasn't like
Yeah.
it was that Florida style fish. Whereas that one that I showed from the marina was a Texas F1 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I caught two of Sandy Cooper in the same week, 24 inches. One was 713 and the other one was 811. So that's a huge jump in weight, for 24 inches. That's why that fish's eyes are bulging out.
Yeah.
Had nowhere else
Oh,
to
you know
go.
what it is she's probably a main lake fish that just sits there and eats those gizzard shad,
Yeah.
nonstop.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no
Like,
kidding.
She probably
sure.
never leaves the deep. I guarantee you she was live scoped. I mean, I might be wrong. Who knows? But
Yeah, it just goes to show why I love the way we do our tournaments. The fish get to go back in the water right there and spawn. And I mean, it's not only just better for the fish and the length. Like the brain on that fish that Weicker caught is the same brain, if it's 2 pounds heavier pre-spawn or whatever, I mean, a pound heavier or whatever, you know what I mean? Like it should equal the same. It should, it took the same skill to catch that fish. I've always said length is the best predictor of age. That's what fisheries biologists say. And I just repeat it because they're smarter than me. So length is a better predictor of age. So, and obviously, the bigger, the longer the fish you catch, it, shows the skill of the angler better, shows it off. So you can't target fat necessarily. You know what I mean? It's hard. So I love the way we do it. I think we're on the right track. I think KAS is on the right track and Bassmaster Kayak Series for putting in events like Caddo Bissano, opening up this precedent where we can have events that have multiple lakes in play. And just got off. We're going to announce a new event at the awards for the Paris Reelfest. I got off the phone with the tourism people today. It'll probably be like 4 lakes in play in that city that are all incredible, like between the 8,000-9,000 acres down to like maybe 4,000 acres. So they equate to a lot of water. And this format can really change the landscape of bass fishing, not kayak fishing, the sport of bass fishing, I think in the future. So
Is this additional to your schedule you have out already?
It's
It'll be for next
it's
year.
2026. We've already announced 2 events for
Okay.
2026, which I don't know if you saw, Jody. The New River Revival we announced in Pulaski, Tennessee. We announced that one at the Ocalapalooza. We also announced Broodstock, the final event for next year. It's going to be in Clarksville, Tennessee. It's called Broodstock 3: Journey on the Cumberland. So that's going to stretch the Cumberland River all the way almost to Nashville from Clarksville, and then the other way is Lake Barkley, right? So you got Barkley, and then
You said Pulaski.
he meant Virginia.
Virginia. I said, yeah, sorry. Virginia.
Okay.
I said Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be a good tournament,
Yep.
dude. That's
Because you got all the water down, down south, which is towards the North Carolina border. It'll reach an hour away as Google Maps driving goes, which is our standard, is about down there near that North Carolina border. All that good water around Timmy Dixon's place, right?
Yep.
But then you got all the good water below Claytor, which is north. As I say below, but it's like below the dam, north all the way up to almost the West Virginia border. I mean, that could be one in either one of those sections. So,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's epic fishing.
Well, we're fishing.
Yeah. Jody's already ready for that one. He's primed. I'm sure Russ was also licking his chops about Clarksville because he knows a lot of those waters over there well.
When
too.
you announced it, he looked over and was like,
I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm in on that one.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Should be fun, guys. It's going to be a fun year. And I look forward to having you guys at some of the events. And, of course, hopefully we'll all be on stage on Friday at the Bassmaster Classic. We'll see you there. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, catch you on the next one.
All right, guys. Good luck.
See ya.